Hey there, everybody. It's Board Bob. So, Factorio just came out with a new update. We're on 0.15, and it looks like they came out with one with another patch because we're up to 15.4 now. So, anyway, I thought I would alternate back and forth between the 7 days to die videos and Factorio. So I haven't played Factorio in quite some time, and been waiting for this update to come out. So I played around with it for about 15-20 minutes or so just to kind of get a feel for it. But I figured, you know what, let's start a new game on it. And while we're at it, let's see if we can't go for the Lazy Bastard perk or achievement and see how we do. So I'm going to leave everything on the start settings. I'm not going to change anything. We'll see how it is. See how much things have changed. I'm going to leave it just on default normal settings. So here we go. Okay, so close tab. All right, so right off, where are we at here? Let's see. Let's look at the map. So a couple of changes on the map. You can zoom all the way in now and look at various things. It's kind of nice when you're trying to figure out what you're doing, what have you. So yeah, pretty cool. You can zoom all the way down to where you can see the person. It's a little grainy, but so what? Alright, so let's see what we got here. Another change they made is if you hover over your ore patches, it will tell you how much is in the patch. That's pretty nice from a planning standpoint. So it looks like we got a pretty decent starting point here. We got a little bit of water. We got a couple of patches of iron, a couple of patches of coal, a patch of stone, and a patch of copper right near us. Got a few outlying ones that we'll probably take advantage of as well. So yeah, let's get rolling on this. I'm probably going to speed through a bunch of this. Oh, and then there's uranium ore now too. I'm probably going to just speed up the video. Everybody's sat through all the starting stuff all the time, so it's not really anything new for anybody. So we'll probably speed through some of this. But to get started, I'm going to gather up some wood just so that I have it for fuel. I'm going to need to be able to start this burner drill and start this forge. Start getting some materials together. Since I'm doing the Lazy Bastard achievement, I'm not even until I get to a point where I can craft it with a factory. I'm not even going to make a pick. So this may take a little while for some of this stuff, and I'm going to be moving the single drill that you start out with around a bit just to gather a certain amount of resources to begin with. So like I say, this is probably going to start out pretty slow. So where are we at? Okay, so we got some iron over here. Let's start. You know what? Let's start with the coal. Sorry about that, guys. Let's start with the coal. Oh, and they changed the graphics on the minerals patches now, so it looks a little more realistic, I guess, or whatever you want to call it. So let's plop her down. And one thing I am going to make, just for convenience sake, although, you know, probably shouldn't, but I'm going to anyway, I am going to make one chest, because that way I can move stuff around. So let's go up here and set this on while we're thinking of it. So where is Lazy Bastard? There it is. So we're gonna track Lazy Bastard so that we can see how we're doing. So I've already crafted 3 items because of course you got to make wood for making the chest itself. But that way I can start collecting a bit of stuff and not have to kind of babysit it the whole time. So there we go. So there are certain things we are definitely going to have to handcraft just to get up to the point of a factory and stuff. So we're going to have to handcraft at least one boiler and one steam engine, and a power pole or two, as well as a laboratory, and our first set of research. So, it's going to be slow starting. I'm going to let that drill run for a little bit so that I can get a decent stock of coal. And then once I get a decent stock of coal, I'm going to go ahead and change it over and start going after some iron. So 15. We'll give it. Let's do a stack of 50. Let's do a stack of 50, and then we can put half and half, and start getting our steel or our iron plate and go from there. While we're doing that, let's look around a little bit. Maybe we can gather up some stone and what have you. Get rid of some of these larger stone deposits and whatnot. Get them out of our way. Same thing goes with the trees, since we're just kind of killing time right now anyway. Like I say, I'm probably just going to fast forward through a lot of this when it comes down to it, for that reason alone. Alright, 20 stone. That helps. Let's get rid of these trees while we're here. Alright, we're getting there with the coal. So I think what I am probably going to do, looking at this map and whatnot, I'm probably going to put my starter power plant somewhere down here, and feed it with the coal, and then I'm probably gonna set up a mine or two in this area and here, and pick off of this coal for my copper, my stone, and my iron ore, and do my processing right over here. And we'll leave this over here just for the power plant. I don't start out real organized with this. I tend to make a hodgepodge of a first factory, and then later on down the line, when I've got my tech going and stuff, then I start building a new one that's kind of more organized. So, alright, we got over 50, so let's get rid of this. Let's take our chest with us. Alright, let's go on up here, and let's start working on some iron ore. So, plop that down, plop that down, split this in half. There we go, close enough. Alright, so now we'll let that cook for a little while. So like I say, starting out this is going to be pretty boring. I will probably just fast forward through this because there's no reason not to. Everybody has seen how this all starts out as far as gathering materials. The only difference being that with the lazy bastard achievement, you got to avoid crafting anything you can. There's a little bit of leeway, at least there was with the with 14, but I don't know about 15. We'll have to see what later on you can craft or can't craft that you have to craft by hand to start out. So hopefully we can still do this. We will find out. So let's see if we got some iron in here. All right, we got some iron going. Let's just throw that in there. All right, so let's look at what we can craft right off here. So we could craft inserters, but again, I'm not going to craft inserters until I can get to a point where I can with a factory. Same thing with belts and everything else. So the first thing we're going to want to do is we're going to set up some kind of power. Now we're going to need a boiler and we're going to need a steam engine. And for the boiler we need pipe and we need a stone furnace. But if we wait and we hold off on the boiler until we're done getting at least a minimum supply of materials right off the bat, we won't have to craft a boiler or yeah, a stone furnace, and that'll save us one. I mean, it doesn't seem like a lot, but when you're on a tight crafting limit, every little bit helps. So I think we'll just go ahead and continue to grab resources until we can get, I don't know, say 100 or 200 copper plates and iron plates. Yeah, gears we need. Yep, so we're going to need to craft some gears so that we can make our science packs. So we're going to need some copper plates. We're going to need some iron plates for that, and then we're going to need some gears. So right off, we're going to have to craft 10 of these, which means 20 items total, because you've got the iron gears and you've got the science pack itself. So there goes 20 out of your 111 right there. Plus what it's going to take to craft one lab, one steam engine, and one boiler. But once we get that, we can craft ourselves a factory, and we can start off with that. We'll still have to handcraft a blue factory, but that'll be just about as much as we really need. So we'll see. So I think what we'll do is we'll work on getting up to, say, 200 iron plates and 200 copper plates, and we will go from there. So I'm going to go ahead and just fast forward through this part of it. You'll see me running around and gathering some stuff and clearing some stuff by hand. Alright guys, so we're back. So is everybody tired of watching me chop wood for a while? So while we were waiting, I went ahead and cleared out a large part of this copper mine, or this copper deposit, so that when the time comes we can start dealing with it. Gave me some trees for fuel and things like that, so it was worth the time, I guess. I know it's kind of boring to watch me stand and chop trees, but like I say, I wanted 300 of each iron and copper plates. I don't know if you caught that or not during that, if you sat through it. I almost screwed the pooch right off the bat. The biggest part of this 111 challenge is, for me, is going to be breaking the habit of just automatically clicking that craft button. I went down and was looking at the stats for the steam engine to see what I needed, and I, of course, just went and clicked on it. Now, luckily, it's something that I needed to craft anyway, but you can see I'm already up to 17 now, and a big part of that was that steam engine. Unfortunately, there are some things that I am going to have to craft, an offshore pump being one of them, and that's going to jump my amount up quite a bit. But I need the electricity, and I'm going to need a boiler. So there we go. I'm also going to need at least one power pole and one laboratory. So let's grab the laboratory. And let's grab a power pole. So as you can see, I'm already well up into like 60. Thankfully, that will taper off. So 72, here we are. We've got a little over 30 left to go, but we've got pretty much everything we need to start out. So we're going to place our pump, and we're going to place our boiler. And the new boilers don't line up one right after the other, and then the steam engine after that. They line up this way, and then the steam engine goes off the top of them. So you got an input and an output on either end for water and steam, or for water to travel through, and you got an output for steam, and then there is your steam engine. Now, normally I would set up a conveyor belt with inserters, but we're going to do this by hand in order to save our crafting. So there we go. So it's going to warm it up, get it fired up, and then eventually, there we go, it should stabilize and stop. So we'll just make sure it's full, so we don't have to keep coming back to it. We're going to drop our power pole, and right next to our power pole we're going to drop one lab. So that allows us to start researching, and the very first thing we're going to go after is this assembling machine number 1. That will be our big lifesaver. So we need 10 red science packs for that. That's going to eat up a fair chunk of our 111. But once we have that, it is going to be a benefit for us. So let's see. So we need 5, 10. Let's see what this takes us up to. Start dumping these into our research. So you can see we're already up to 80. But like I say, that will taper off rather quickly once we get this built, fortunately. We just got to get through this first tier of research so that we can start building things with a factory. So that's going to take us all the way up to 93. We got what, 6, 7, 18 left. Ooh, so, you know, it is close, but we should not have to craft too much more. We are going to have to craft this one factory, and that's why I only needed the one power pole, because we're going to set the factory next to the lab and kind of limp along until we can get to a point where we can start automating a lot of stuff. So we're almost done researching that. We got plenty of iron, plenty of copper. We no longer have our one furnace because that went into building the boiler, but that certainly saved us on building at least one. So let's see, what do we want to do next? Turrets would not be a bad thing. That's probably going to be our next build, is going to be turrets, our next research. I'm going to hold off for now though, because the next thing we're going to go ahead and do is we're going to build that one factory. Unfortunately, I have to build the electronic circuits and everything else to build that one factory, which is going to bring us way up on our crafting, but I don't think we have a whole lot of choice. So that brings us up to 107. That means we only have what, 4 left that we can craft. But now we can start making things automatically. So the first thing we're going to want is we're going to want another one of these assembly buildings, and it doesn't look like we can do one. So yeah, that sucks. Alright, so first thing we're going to want is we're going to want a bunch of gears, because everything really takes gears. So let's craft a bunch of gears and go from there. So we'll set this to gears, and we'll dump a bunch of plates in there, and we'll let her run for a little bit. And like I say, this tends to be a bit on the time consuming side. Seems to me, I don't know, it just feels like I've crafted more than the last time I did this. So I don't know if they've changed. I know they've changed what you need for certain things. So we may not be able to do the 111, but we're going to try and keep to as little as we possibly can with regards to building things. So there we go. That gives us our 50 gears. Let's next let's build a couple of stone furnaces. Because we're going to want some more miners. We have one miner. We're going to want one for iron, one for copper, and one for stone. So that's going to need 3 furnaces. And then we're going to need furnaces to process the iron and the copper. So that's going to be another 2. So that's 5. So let's let's make it an even 6. So we've got one for the stone too. So there we go. We'll do that. And we'll dump our stone in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 6. Let's just let it run. we'll use them later. Alright, so that gives us 10. And then we can reset that, and we're going to want to do... Oh, so we can't do the miners in the 1. Alright, so we're going to have to look at what we need to do to get to our next tier of assembler. So, our next tier of assembler, trying to remember where that sucker is. It's been a little while since I played this game. I am by no means an expert at it. So we need to get electronics, and then we need to research it. So we need 30 of the science packs for electronics. So let's start the research on that. And then we're going to build science packs. And let's do that. I don't remember what the ratio is. I think it's 1 of each. So that'll give us our 30. I will tell you now, I am by no means an expert in this game. I know there are a lot of people out there who study and plan and study for maximum efficiency. That's not me. I kind of throw shit at a wall and see what sticks. So we'll see how it goes. I know there's people that are going to be banging their head on the tables looking at me going, what the hell are you doing? There's more efficient ways, or there's better ways. By all means, message me, comment, and let me know. You know, I wouldn't mind getting better at it. I play it just to kill time. It gives me something to do. Like I told you all before, I'm retired, so I can just, you know, sit on my dead ass and do nothing most of the day. And that's, you know, except that I also work over at the college as a teacher, so that does take up some of my time. But, you know, I play this for the fun of it. I don't play it to become some kind of big expert. I'll rely on the other folks that already are experts, and I will pick their brains to do better. So there we go. So we get started on this, so that we're not wasting a ton of time. Man, that really shot up. I guess there's some stuff that has changed. I'm gonna have to go back and look, because that seems like an awful lot of stuff to be built just to build these basics that we need, because I know that we're gonna have to build the next level of assembler by hand as well, and then we're going to have to build a refinery by hand, I think. So I don't know that we're going to be able to make it at this point. I think that may this may be changing that achievement. We'll see. I'll be darned if that's awful high, or it seems to be awful high all of a sudden. And it seems to me that everything that I built had to be built. I mean, I have to have research to do this. I have to have electric to do the research. I have to have the pump, so I have to have that. I have to have the heat exchanger, and I have to have the steam engine. There's no getting around crafting those. The only thing I didn't have to craft, okay, was a wooden chest, and that cost me 3. You know, but yeah, we'll see. I had to craft at least a pole, and when you do one, it does 2. And it does the copper cable for them. I had to craft the 10 science packs. I had to craft the research lab, and I had to craft the assembly machine. So, with the exception of the 3 that I had to craft for a chest, everything else I had to craft. I mean, there was no getting around it. So I will have to go back and look. I think they've changed some of the things that you need to craft some of this stuff, which means that the minimums are going to have to, or the 111 is probably going to change to something else for this achievement, because there's no way, if they've changed things to where you can craft it, because that leaves me 4, and I think you need way more than that to get the refinery and the other level of assembler. So we'll see, but I think we're not going to make the 111, and that's disappointing, but we'll see if we can keep it as absolutely low as we can, even though we're probably going to blow the 111 pretty quick. But maybe we'll do it so we can see just exactly how little it takes, so we can shoot for that number instead. Alright, so we're almost done with our science packs, and that will give us our research for electronics. And we might as well craft the other 30 or so that it's going to take. Since we're already here, we're already set up, let's just throw this in and let it run. So while I'm doing that, I could be over here with this drill and we'll put one of these, and we'll just max them both out in wood because we got plenty, and just let it cook. I try to get away from burners as quickly as possible, simply because of the pollution levels. But I guess we're just going to have to piss fires off. I don't really care. I am looking forward to trying out the nuclear power generation stuff and all of that. That looks like that's going to be interesting. And I have seen a video of somebody who was playing with the nukes, and they look pretty ugly, pretty nasty, and I think that's going to be fun too. So, alright, so what I probably am going to do at this point is I'm going to go ahead and fast forward again just while this goes and does this research tier and the next research tier, and then we'll start back. So see you in a minute. Alright guys, so we're back. We're just about to finish up research. Up there we go. So now we can build assembly machine 2s, and that's where things start getting a little bit more speedy or quick or whatever. So let's hold off on research. Let's look at what we need for this assembly machine 2. Let's go ahead and let this one finish, and then we'll stop it. There we go. Okay. So we're going to need this assembler 1. Oops, you know what? We probably should wait. Let's put that back there. So what do we need? For an assembler 2, we need iron plates. Okay, we have those. We need electronic circuits and iron gears. So we're going to need 5 iron gears. We have 6, and we're going to need electronic circuits. So what do we need for electronic circuits? We need copper cable. So let's make ourselves some copper cable. We need 3 electronic circuits, and per circuit we need 3 copper cables, so we need 9 copper cable total. Alright, so let's make ourselves some copper cable. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. There we go. That gives us 10. That's plenty. And then we want to change this to electronic circuits, and then we want to throw in our copper cable, and we want to throw in our iron plate, and bang out our 3 circuits. Then what else do we need? We need, oops, not in there. Okay, so we have our 3 circuits, we have our 5 iron gears, and we have our 9 copper iron plates. And we also need that assembly machine 1, so let's pick that up. There we go, and then we'll craft one of these, and it's going to totally put us over. No, it's not, because the only thing we're really crafting is the assembler itself. So that puts us at 8. We have 3 more that we can do. I don't know if we're going to make it to what we think we're going to make it to, but anyway. So now we have our assembler, so we'll drop it down. And the first thing I'm going to look at doing is making a couple more assembly machine 1s so that I can have them pump out my science packs. So for that we need 3 electronic circuits, 5 iron gears, 9 iron plates. So let's start with our copper wire. So we're going to need copper wire. So we're going to need 9 of those, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. We already got a few extra, but that's okay, so what? Alright, so there we go. So now we need our circuits. So we throw in our copper cable, and we throw in our iron plates. Probably going to end up with an extra one. Yep. I don't really care because we'll use it later anyway. So now what else do we need? We need 5 iron. Oh, you know what? We're going to want 2 of those anyway. So let's make another one whilst we're here. So let's throw this in. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Reset that. Let's do this, that, and that. There we go. So now we have enough of those. Now we're going to need iron gears, and we're going to need 5 per. So let's make 10 iron gears. We have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. There we go. We got 11 now. Alright, whatever. Alright, so now what else do we need? We need iron gears, iron plates, and electronic circuits. We've got everything we need, I think, at this point. So let's make our 2 assembler 1s. Boom. And we're still at 108. This is where it starts to get nice, because now we can go up here and we can put one here, and we can put one here. Alright, so we're going to need that other telephone pole, and we're going to set it, you know what, let's set it right here. We're going to need another one anyway. Let's see what we got. If we have okay, we got a cable. So we're going to need to make wood. So we'll pop one in there and make a wood. Take the wood out. Now this is where it gets, you know, kind of stupid. But if you want to do it, well, you know, we need 2 copper cable. How many do we have? We only have 1, don't we? Alright, fine. So we'll make a copper cable. You get 2 for it, but okay, fine. So then we go and we make ourselves 1 pole, or 1 set of poles. There we go. So now we have 2 poles. Okay, so now we have the poles that we need for later. Next, we're going to want some inserters. So for inserters, we need electronic circuits, iron gears, and plates. Now, we can do this. We can put a line here. Actually, you know what? Let's put it on this side, and I have a reason for that in a minute. All right, so there we go. So now, let's do this. Let's have this puppy make our gears, because that's what we're going to have it do anyway. So let's put half of our plates in here, and then electronic circuits, we need copper cable. So let's have this puppy produce copper cable. And yeah, we'll just throw a stack in there. We'll use them anyway. So let's just let it go ahead and do its thing. How are we doing up here? You know what? Let's throw that many more in there, because we're going to need the gears anyway. Alright, so now we have the gears, and now we have the copper cable. Now we're going to want, for inserters, we're going to want what? We're going to want gears, electronic circuits, and iron plates for each inserter. And we're going to want 1, 2, 3, 4 inserters. So we're going to need 4 electronic circuits, 4 gears, 4 iron plates. Alright, so let's go up here and make 4 electronic circuits. And we need 1, 2, 3, 4, and 1, 2, 3, 4. Alright. There we go. We have 4. Alright, we have 5, but whatever. Alright, so now let's go back down here. And we want 4 inserters. So we want 4 of these. And then that'll stop automatically because we'll be out of that. Alright, there we go. So now we have our 4 inserters. So now what we're going to do is we're going to put inserter here. Oops, we're no, we're in the right distance. Okay. We're going to do here. We're going to do here. And we're going to do here. So now we're going to take that chest and we're going to set it up here. And in that chest, we're going to put that. So then this will be making iron gears. And the iron gears will go in here for that. And then this other inserter, we will build another chest. So we're going to need to do wood. Alright, and then we'll reset that, and it gets a little tedious. And we want one chest, so there we go, one chest. And we'll take that chest, where did I put it? There it is. And we'll put it right here. And in this chest, we're going to put copper. And then that will build, you know what, let's turn this on. There we go. So now that will build, I want to say potions, just because it looks like it, but science packs. And that will start feeding our research. So now we've got it not necessarily 100% automated because we're going to need belts, but we've got it going to where we can start doing some other stuff. Now let's go up here and, get our drill and our copper. Okay, so let's take our drill away. I don't want it making more. Take our copper, and I guess we'll let it go ahead and process that that copper that's sitting in there. Going down, back down here and see how this is going. Oh, and we actually have 3 here we can put in there. So it's waiting on research. Let's see what we're going to do next. I really do like lights, but at the same time, we've probably pissed enough biters off with the pollution we probably want to start looking at turrets. So let's research turrets, and then we'll probably research stone walls, and then we'll worry about lights. So there we go. So now I should have this fairly well automated. I mean, it's only one research lab for right now, but it gets us started. And while we're building that, while that's just cooking away slowly, we can start using that level 2 assembler to start building our other stuff. So we can start doing belts and things like that. And what we will likely do is build a couple more level 1 inserters that we can use to build the components added to those. So now we're well on our way to kind of building our infrastructure. And that's basically where I want it to be by this first video, is I wanted to have science automated. I think in the next video we will work on having our belts and our ore supplies automated. We'll go ahead and build a bunch more stone furnaces, and we'll actually build electric drills now so that we can get rid of the one burner drill that we have. Alright, so we got our turrets researched. We will research walls, and then we will research lights. In the meantime, we're just going to let this finish cooking. It's only got 12 more, 11 more, whatever. We'll take this over and get it started back on iron. I had to come over here because I was getting low on copper. Now, of course, I'm getting low on, I'm out of iron. So it's a back and forth thing to start out. So we'll just get this done and we'll move it over there, and then that'll be it for today's video, I think. And we'll go from there. And 2 more. One more. Come on. A little slow, but that's okay. Alright, there we go. So let's take this go back over and set it up on our iron, and we will call it a done deal. And there's why, because I need more iron. So drop this here, drop this here, and just dump whatever we have in them and let them start doing their thing. Alright guys, so basically we've got our power set up, we have our manufacturing set up. Next time we're going to work on belts, so we will we'll have to build a couple more assembler ones so that we can start getting our gears and things like that without having to steal them from up here, and that'll be that. So I'm going to play around a couple minutes, a little bit more, and just to kind of grab some more of this iron, get the iron going, so that next week, or next video, not next week, next video we can start looking at that other stuff. So I'm just going to grab some stuff. So I will see you on the next video. You know, if you've got any suggestions on what I should do and what have you, or you think I'm stupid, or you think this is stupid, or you think, you know, whatever, or if you like it, you know, put it all in the comments. You know, if you have a chance, or you feel like it, or you think we're going somewhere with this, you can always like and subscribe, all of that good stuff. If not, you know, whatever. I'm doing this for my entertainment and my fun, and if, you know, it provides you guys with some, great, and if it doesn't, well, you know, so be it. It keeps me from getting any more bored than I already am. So there you go. Alright, you guys have a good trip and a good night and a good what have you, and I will see you next time. Alright, so long.